In this video, I'm going to demonstrate a feature of Matlab called Publish. All this does is takes a Matlab code you've written and makes it look really great, along with any plots that come out of it and any comments you've made. And the idea is, one, that you'll use the Matlab Publish command to start changing up the way you turn in your homework. There's nothing wrong with copying plots and putting them in a Word document or printing them out, but with just a little extra work, you can have your Matlab code looking beautiful when you turn it in. And that's what this is about. Also, if you're doing this in ever a research context, you can quickly impress people by using the Matlab publish command, because it looks like you put a lot of thought into preparing a document, even though you really just added a few comments when you wrote the code. Okay, so let's just do this and I'll show you what I've done. I have basically a script here that shows that you can model a square wave using a sum of sine terms, which is just a Fourier series. So I'm basically showing that you can use a Fourier expansion to approximate a square wave in this script. And I'm just going to hit this button Publish, which notice is under the Publish tab, and it will prepare for me this beautiful document that just came out of my code. Notice it even has a table of contents, and I can click on it and go to things. I have several plots that I asked for here. I have the code used to generate them, which is crucial for your homework. I want to see what it is you're doing. And so you have the code you use to generate these plots. I have the plots all formatted in one nice document, and look, there's a print button right there. So let's talk about how I did this. I'm going to pull out just this one script, and we're going to compare between the script and the document. Oops. Sorry, I was trying to do Windows left there to line everything up the way I wanted. Okay, so I wrote this script. I borrowed most of it, maybe all of it, from MATLAB's own example of the publish script. So let's see what I did. First of all, in MATLAB, you can break up sections of script with the double comment sign. So instead of just percent, you use a double percent, and each of these is a section, and that's how MATLAB identifies sections in scripts. It's really just for commenting. The section in general, running a script has no effect. You can actually run scripts by section, so I can say just run this section, just run this section. So it is handy sometimes in debugging if you want to get into that, but for the purposes of this, we can just say that they're fancy comments. You can use markup language in MATLAB. You can also use LaTeX, which I have done here. I have a LaTeX equation that you'll notice shows up in my output. All right. The first key is you need to separate your code by sections if you're going to use the Matlab publish command. That's how it knows how to make these nice titles that make things look beautiful. Your first section is a title section. So the first header that I used with the double percent square waves from sine waves, and it's at the very top of my script, Matlab turns that into my main title. The next line is a little description, or if you were thinking about this in a research term, it could be an abstract. I don't think you would actually publish a paper this way, but maybe you publish like a blog post, or this could be part of a digital lab notebook. Anyway, so I've got my description of what this code does. That is perfect to help me grade, by the way, on your homework. Knowing what you're going for on a code makes things much better. Also, I'm going to have all these comments around my code, so I don't have to guess what it is you're plotting for me. Anyway, I have my line up here, and notice that that is just a comment. One little thing, if you want to make this formatted really well when you do the publish, pay attention to your spacing. So between the 2% and my title, I have a space, and then between the percent and the first character of the comment, I have a space, and then Matlab automatically wraps this for me. So when I was typing and I got over here to odd, it wrapped the line to harmonics. I didn't have to do that. But notice you need to pay attention to the spaces to get Matlab to get all the formatting right. So I have my kind of introductory segment up here, and then I have the first thing I'm going to do. The first thing I will do is add an odd harmonic and plot it. Okay, so I am just going to set up a range of times to plot over t, and the sine term with a 1 coefficient in front of it is going to be an odd harmonic. And then I just plot the times that I set up. Remember, Matlab thinks in numbers. It doesn't know what a sine plot looks like, but it knows that I can take the sine of a bunch of values and then plot those. So I have a bunch of values that I took the sine of. I'm going to plot those, and notice that section, add an odd harmonic plot, is the first formal section in my document over here. It has the code, and then the plot. And notice it happened exactly in that order. We've got my title, my code, plot that comes out of my code. Okay, well this is just one sine wave if I'm demonstrating that a Fourier series converges to a square wave, given the appropriate Fourier coefficients. I'm going to have to do these in a loop. I'm going to have to do a bunch of sine waves, add them together, and see if I can get closer and closer to a square wave. So let's see. I'm going to describe that with another comment. I don't actually want a title here, but I do want the plot to come before this, so I'm kind of declaring to Matlab the order of events. So I'm going to start a new section, but I won't put anything there. And Matlab, notice, doesn't have a blank in my table of contents. It knows what I'm doing. So I just have the double % for new section, and then nothing titling it, not even a space. And then I have a description. Remember, % space to start my description. Each iteration of the loop, add an odd harmonic to y as k. Notice in the sine term what's happening there. K increases, the output approximates a square wave with increasing accuracy. So I'm just adding a coefficient to t in my Fourier series. So then I'm going to have a loop. Here's my loop, or starting my loop. And you can even see that, again, if I'm being careful about how I format this, I started the loop, and then I started a new section. Matlab doesn't care about that. But that means that I wanted to see that code first. And the reason for that is the equation I'm going to describe happens in that loop. So you might think that's a little weird the way I formatted that, but this equation is getting run in every for loop. So I'm making this document read like the code reads. So for all of these values of k, do this. Now, does that make Matlab plot that over and over again? No. Matlab knows not to rewrite the comments in the for loop. So it doesn't say that equation every time I run the loop. But I wrote the equation in the loop because it's happening in the loop. And so that's how I had to think about it when writing the code. That's how I'm communicating to my reader what I did. So over these k values, do this, and display every other plot. So I wrote the code to do that. There's the equation that I have here in LaTeX. And notice you've got to open and close your LaTeX with the double dollar signs. So I have my LaTeX equation. I have the code for what I'm doing. And basically this if k mod 4, or if mod k comma 4. So I'm only plotting plots 3, 5, 7, and 9. And so what I say is I want the odd numbers. So if you have a remainder in division by 4 of 1, then show me the plot. It's a little bit weird, specific to this case, but I'm just, mod is the remainder of division. So if you have a remainder of 1, show me the plot. And that's what it does. I also have some comments here that you can see. I used Matlab, the display command, kind of like print in other languages. So I have the Matlab display command, and then I use something called sprintf, which if you don't know about is very handy. You may want to look up the sprintf command in Matlab. Basically, I can format strings, so that's exactly what this command does. It formats strings, which are sets of characters. So it formats the string using k. So I can have Matlab print what k is, even though I don't type k for every loop. Matlab knows k, and so it constructs a string or series of characters using k. So when k is 5, the plot looks like this, and that's exactly what happened here. Display sprintf when k equals my string replacement formula, which is basically, let's see if I remember this. I'm telling it I want to display k, and it's a floating point value, so it could have any number of decimals up to machine error. So it's a floating point value. It could have any number of decimals. I want to display the first decimal. If you actually want to use the sprintf command, you won't remember this. You will have to look up sprintf in the Matlab documentation. You can just search Matlab sprintf on Google and see the instructions for how to do this. Every time I use sprintf, I have to look it up. I'm sure if I used it enough, I would just start to remember the table of commands. But it's very handy. You can also use sprintf to make nice plot titles if you're generating a series of plots. I use that sometimes. Anyway, so use sprintf to construct this phrase when k is 5. The plot looks like this. And notice that mod 5 or mod 4 or 5 would have a value of 1, so it's an odd numbered plot. We show it. And then again, you see the power of this printf command. I didn't have to type in these lines again. It was able to do the string replacement and add the comment there for me. And again, this happens exactly as it does in the code. We have my comment, we have the things it does, and we end. And then I have a little note here at the bottom about how for a finite series, we're never actually going to get an exact approximation. And that is the Matlab publish command. So you can do this in two ways. If you have the code editor open, you can click on the publish tab right here, publish, and then just hit publish. You can edit the options if you want to change up things. This might look a little intimidating, so I'm going to give you a couple things you can quickly change. If I don't want to do this in the editor window, so let's send this back actually. If you want to do the command is unsurprisingly, so let's just say my document equals publish, and then you tell it the name of the script you want to publish. So the name of my script is FourierDemo.m, FourierDemo.m, and say publish. And it's going to create an HTML document that it saves over here in my current folder, so it saves it wherever I'm at. And so it's saved as a web page with all the pictures included. Now this is handy if you need to separate out the pictures later. However, if you're just going to take this somewhere and try to print it out, it might be more convenient to have this as a PDF document. And notice all I did was add comma PDF. And hopefully, if I remembered my syntax right, that is in fact, it's working on it. Ooh. Okay, it says it generated it, but I don't see it. I have had some problems. Oh, it put it in the HTML folder. There we go. And if I open that, there is my document in my Acrobat Reader. So notice there is my nicely formatted document that I could put on a jump drive, that I could email myself, I could print it out anywhere. If you have the HTML document, you have to also email yourself any dependencies if you're taking it over to the library, so you'd have to email yourself all the pictures too. So this is very compact and convenient. And one that I know it can do, but I haven't used much, is it can make a Microsoft Word document. I'm a little frightened by that. In general, I've had trouble formatting things with Microsoft Word, so it's working on it. I didn't experiment with this before making the video, so this could go bad. Working on it, working on it. And it says it made it. Oh, let's see what happens if I try to open it. Yay, Microsoft. Oh, that's much better than I expected. You are hearing genuine surprise right now. So that's nice as well, and I can email myself that, print it out, whatever I need to do. So pretty awesome. Please experiment with the publish command. Please use this to print figures for your homework, to print code for your homework, because it makes everything just nicely formatted. You can see exactly when your code makes a plot. So if you have some kind of mistake, I can look right at your code, know right where the mistake came in. You know, if this plot were wrong, I know it would have to be in this code block up here. If this plot were wrong, I know it would have to be in this code block right here. It's just beautiful, makes it so easy to troubleshoot what's happening. I don't have to go dig through things. It also makes it clear when you've made comments. So the comments are right there. I don't have to go looking for those either. Everything is just nice. So if you have a homework where you need to discuss your graphs, your discussions are right there in the comments. And then you hit publish, you're good to go. You've done everything required of you. You'll get no complaints from me if you just continue to turn them in Word documents or whatever, print out Word documents that you've constructed by copying and pasting, but Matlab can do a lot of formatting, and you should be commenting your code anyway, because if you go back and look at it, no one will know what it does. You won't know what it does, a month from now. But if you comment your code, you have that to use in future assignments, because physics is cumulative, so things we do now will come up again. Anyway, this is a way of making your Matlab code beautiful with very little extra work on your part. You just have to divide your code into sections and add comments, which you should be doing already. If you'd like more information, just Google Matlab Publish, and any links from mathworks.com should point you in the right direction. And that is all.